Ilhan Omar, I knew you were hiding here.
Leave me alone!
You're out of here. Get out of my country.
No! This is wrong!
Out, now.
Congresswoman Omar, the last time I spoke to you, you said that I was stupid for asking you about your financial disclosure, but there's some discrepancies on there. Would you like to explain that? How did you make such a big mistake on it?
Absolutely, you're stupid for asking me anything.
I am?
Yes.
Well, what about the American people who are wondering how you made such a big
I have
mistake?
explained to the American people.
What's the explanation?
I have given them the explanation.
Do you want to tell our viewers? Because they're
I don't want to
looking
tell you jack shit.
Oh.
How about that?
Okay.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
So as you saw in the opening clip, Representative Ilhan Omar from Tim Walz's Minnesota that has all of this alleged fraud going on, well, she now had to revise her financial disclosure statement in the last 10 days. And this statement that she has to submit as a formality of being a congresswoman went from $30 million in net assets down to $90,000. She marks this up as an accounting error and something that her accountant did without her knowledge. Well, isn't this convenient? The one person, right, that's under the microscope outside of Tim Walz in Minnesota is now revising all kinds of financial disclosures, and any independent journalist that wants more information, well, she tells them that she doesn't owe them jack shit. Well, here's the latest expose and pursue of Allison Steinberg, this journalist that's pursuing Ilhan Omar, trying to get more information, because there's been yet another update on the Ilhan Omar front. Let's hear the latest.
Trump's economy has failed the American people, but I think the American people really want to know how you went from a negative $65,000 before coming into Congress to over $30 million in just 7 years.
My disclosure is public now.
Yeah, it is. And so a lot of people now are looking into that and finding S. Crew Winery, a winery that doesn't actually seem to exist. Is that a real winery, or?
Do you all actually look at and read things, or do you just ask silly questions?
Well, it's listed in the financial disclosure, so can you explain it? Because we have a lot of questions about it, and things just aren't adding up. There's no real phone number. There's no real location.
Why did you want to buy some wine?
Probably not from you, to be honest. Recently stated that the American people should be afraid of the white man. They should be fearful of the white man.
I never said that.
Yeah, you're on video saying it.
Our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country.
No, I did not.
Yes, you.
Again, this is like what I said. You need to prepare yourself, because you can't continue embarrassing yourself like this.
So I'm just a liar.
What I was quoting was an actual study done by the FBI.
Oh, yeah, a study done by the FBI where she's denying and now admits that she said it. Well, let's look into this winery just a little bit further, because as you can see here in the bottom half of this video, just last week, this infamous winery that Ilhan Omar and her husband owned, well, they dissolved it. And they dissolved it just days after they revised their financial statement. So this is yet another independent journalist that tried to go to the location of the winery to learn more about this. Let's look at this.
They were a client many years ago.
Yet they waited until years later to dissolve the business?
So let's see, this is Suite B. Again, that is the address where Ilhan Omar's winery is. You can see that a different winery is here, Punch Down Cellars.
What does this note say?
E Street Crew does not make wine here. They were a client many years ago and have ceased operation. Their operating address is linked to this address like all other client wineries because of state and federal filings.
Okay, so as you can see, and the reason I put this clip in here, and this is important, that in Ilhan Omar's 2024 financial disclosure, she valued this winery that's at this random address.
So I wonder, Ilhan
and you can
Omar's
see here, this is evidently where her winery was. She valued it at $5 million. So again, this is something that you can't just, I mean, maybe somebody has to say it. You can't just financially dissolve an LLC, a winery, after claiming all of this value for it for years and just hope that you're financially dissolving any investigation that may be going on. Because again, Ilhan Omar's winery looks like it really never existed. At one point, it was worth multiples of millions of dollars. It never had a functional social media presence, never had a functional phone number. And now it's been dissolved. And incidentally, it's now being dissolved not only on the revision of the financial disclosure, but the initial questions as to how she went in her very first year in Congress from $95,000 in debt to just 5 years later disclosing that she's worth $30 million. This is going to cause questions. And those questions are something that Ilhan Omar doesn't want to answer. Here's a little math for you. That's a 66,000% increase in your financial wealth in just 5 years. And this while Ilhan Omar is drawing a public elected official's salary in Washington, D.C. So we do have questions, and that is why Ilhan Omar is treating these reporters who are trying to get answers. We owe them. I mean, she's a public official. If any of us tried to do these same shenanigans that Omar did, the IRS would be all over us. But here, right, when a simple question is asked by a reporter, she looks at the reporter and says, I don't owe you jack shit. That's the attitude that the Democrats have when we're looking for facts, transparency, and actual information on what looks like potential impropriety. So the comments are wide open. Let me know if you think I missed something, because at this point, I think Ilhan Omar has a lot of explaining to do as to why she has multi-million-dollar revisions in her financial disclosures. And she can't just mark this up as a financial or an accounting error. This is not something that's going to float. This is the problem with Washington, D.C., how swampy it is, right? And then now you draw this correlation from the swamp in D.C. to the alleged improprieties that are happening in Minnesota under Tim Walz, with the whole Somali community that's been under the microscope with some of Nick Sorter and Nick Shirley's efforts in exposing some of the alleged fraud up there with the Leering Center, with hospices. This is all drawing a lot of attention, and the inquiries are just starting, so more to come there. If you've yet to subscribe to America First Alerts, please do so. We'd love to have you along for the ride. And our very next story is not one you're going to want to miss, because this is too going to cause a complete liberal meltdown, just like we saw from Ilhan Omar. When you look at Ron DeSantis and what he's done as governor in Florida, we can all agree he gets an A+. He's led the state fantastically with guiding principles that are America First oriented. But what's up next for Ron DeSantis? Well, I have all of the news for you, and this is going to be fascinating if it turns out to be true. That story is next.